Chapter 1. Ranking and Evaluation. Benchmarking. 1.1 A brief history of benchmarking. The word benchmark originally comes from the field of geography, specifically surveying. A bench refers to a reference point against which other points, whether higher or lower, are measured. For example, sea level is taken as a standard reference. Mountains are described as being above sea level, while plains are below it. In management, the term carries a similar meaning. It refers to a reference or a standard against which organizations measure themselves and their competitors. In this process, both strengths and weaknesses are identified, encouraging organizations to reduce deficiencies while enhancing their strong points. In this way, the concepts of teaching and learning become more concrete. Put simply, benchmarking represents a practical example of learning from others as well as generously sharing knowledge and experience with competitors and peers. Thus, benchmarking in management can be defined as a continuous, systematic process of evaluation, in which an organization's products, services, work processes, management systems, whether at headquarters or operational units, customer orientation, and other organizational aspects are compared, assessed, and ranked against those of leading organizations in the same industry or even in different industries. In plain terms, benchmarking is the search for the best practices of industry leaders, services, and organizations, and sharing those practices with others as a pathway toward excellence and progress. In different societies, researchers have always sought methods to improve efficiency and increase profitability for large organizations and industrial companies. Through the creation of evaluation and ranking processes, models and indicators were developed based on best practices, allowing organizations to be assessed against these established benchmarks. Benchmarking proved to be an effective approach to achieve this goal. The benchmarking technique was first introduced by Dr. Robert Camp. Using this method, the best practices in a given field can be identified and applied as models to improve a company's performance. In the 1950s, the Japanese applied this technique on a large scale with remarkable organization. They began by visiting and studying the strengths of hundreds of companies and factories worldwide, particularly in the United States and Europe. Eventually, in 1979, when Xerox Corporation in the U.S. faced a severe decline in market share due to Japanese competitors offering similar products at lower prices, the company adopted this technique and managed to rescue itself from the threat of bankruptcy and elimination from the market. Since then, benchmarking has expanded significantly and has become one of the most recognized management techniques, widely used by commercial and service organizations in both the private and public sectors. Today, industrialized and advanced nations such as the United States and the United Kingdom, Denmark, Hungary, India, Ireland, Italy, Slovakia, Japan, South Africa, Sweden, Switzerland, Malaysia, Moldova, and France have implemented the advanced and matured version of this approach within their own borders. Based on the various definitions previously mentioned, benchmarking rests on three main pillars. 1. Learning ability. 2. Sharing and participating in information and experiences. 3. Understanding and adopting best practices to implement gradual improvements in the performance of learners. Through learning and leveraging the experiences of others, an organization can enhance itself, make progress, and achieve higher scores in comparative evaluations among organizations. In simple terms, this concept is similar to students learning from their teachers or professors. By acquiring knowledge through theory and practice, understanding it, and applying it, they aim to achieve better grades and, ultimately, perform better in evaluations compared to their classmates, who serve as their competitors. This approach, when applied in industry, services, and various economic, educational, and social organizations, leads to organizational advancement, enhancing both national and international value and reputation. Beyond achieving high rankings, and even first place, among specific and general audiences, it establishes a distinguished rational emotional position that others are encouraged to emulate. 2.1 A redefinition of ranking and evaluation. Evaluation and ranking, as a management method for performance improvement, was first implemented in the 1970s and 1980s by Xerox Corporation. This approach saved the company from the risk of bankruptcy and collapse due to competitive pressures from Japanese firms. Since then, The method has developed significantly and has become one of the most recognized management techniques, widely used by both commercial and governmental organizations. Although multiple definitions of evaluation and ranking have been proposed, all share a common foundation: learning, gathering information, and adopting best practices to implement gradual improvements in performance. Therefore, evaluation and ranking essentially means self-improvement through learning from others. Many organizations define evaluation and ranking in their own terms to align with their strategies and objectives. For example, consider the following two definitions. 1. Evaluation and ranking, in simple terms, involve comparing oneself with other organizations and learning from the lessons derived from these comparisons. 2. Evaluation and ranking is a continuous process of assessing products, services, and actions against competitors or companies that consistently operate in the industry. Those evaluated may be recognized as leaders or top performers. The history of performance evaluation and ranking, in its most basic and primitive form, dates back millennia to a time when humans began living in groups, dividing work among different groups, assigning titles, and delegating various positions within these groups. Evaluation, in the forms of government and private sector systems, also dates back centuries. In 1860, in Scotland, the evaluation system was widely introduced at both the individual and organizational levels by Robert Owen in the textile industry. He assessed production performance using colored sticks as follows: white, excellent performance; yellow, good performance; blue, average performance; black, very poor performance. Alongside the development and evolution of management thought and the rise of managerial schools, the nature and efficiency of evaluation processes also advanced. What began as simple assessments gradually expanded into evaluations of personnel and managers, along with changes and improvements in evaluation indicators. Today, nearly all subjects discussed in scientific fields are directly or indirectly connected to performance evaluation, as modern concepts, techniques, and methodologies are applied to enhance organizational functioning and effectiveness. In pursuit of their mission and objectives, organizations continue to prepare, design, and implement various plans and frameworks, with performance evaluation remaining at the core of assessing how desirable and effective these functions truly are.